Quebec, Canada, fighting Troy the Destroyer Dorsey. 12 rounds for the World Super Lightweight Championship.
What are you going to do now as far as kickboxing?
First, I want to thank God. Say hello to my wife, Shelly and Kendra. Happy birthday, Shane. And thank all of my instructors and students at my school. Now, pick up kickboxing and boxing both again and go after a world title. Okay, thank you. All right. The winner and still Hurricane World Super Lightweight Champion of the World, Troy the Destroyer Dorsey!
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today here with If the Gloves Could Talk with Troy Dorsey. Today we have Karen Herdman. Is that with an A-N or an E-N?
It's Herdman, Herdman. And in martial arts industry, brother, they know me as Karen Eden because I've written for so many magazines.
Oh,
So
yeah?
Karen Eden is what everybody knows me as. Karen Eden
Okay.
Herdman. That works.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we had a really difficult time getting the emails and not getting the emails and the email without the dash and all these kind of things. But we push through it just like we have to do as martial artists and as human beings. Really, we are made to push forward and not give up and tackle life with all we have and do all of what we can do.
That's right. Keep going.
Yes, ma'am. What is it? It says in Philippians 3:14, it says, "Press forward to the mark of the high calling of Jesus Christ." Press
That's
forward.
right.
Does press forward mean
Keep
like
pressing.
this? No.
Well, it's interesting because Paul was an athlete. He was a guy of upper status, and he was in the Sanhedrin, which is a highly educated and rather political position. But he was also an athlete. We think from the scriptures of the epistles, the Pauline epistles. So he does a lot of stuff like that about wrestling, running the race like you're going to win. He says a lot of things like that that are very athletic sounding.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Press forward. Like you're down the
Yeah,
front line or you're in the
yeah.
clinch in a
Sometimes
boxing.
to clinch the wind, as you know, sometimes you really have to reach down deep and just press forward. It's very
Yes.
true. And you have to run that race like you're going to win it. That's just the athletic mindset.
Yes, I
It's in
love
the
that.
Bible, so that's kind of cool.
It is. It is. You know what Bible stands for?
Do I know? Is this another acronym?
Yes, ma'am.
You like acronyms? Go ahead, sir.
Best information before leaving Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I learned it about a year ago. So yeah, I like those acronyms.
Acronyms. Yeah. Make it
Yeah.
easier to remember stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Okay. Um, Last name again? So tell us a
Karen
little about.
Eden, Karen
Okay.
Eden Herdman, and people
Herdman.
call me Ren, honestly, short for Karen.
Ren.
If I hear Karen, I know it's somebody in the martial arts business or someone from where I grew up because everybody calls me Ren, short for Karen.
Okay. Ren. Okay. That'll be
Yes,
good.
sir.
That's short.
It's,
I've been short all my
yeah, it's
life, so
easy.
I'm good for short.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about when you started martial arts and why, and just some of those things if you don't mind.
Okay.
A little bit
Yeah,
about
the
yourself.
karate
So
questions.
I'm asking you. I know you're not a bragger, but just tell us a little bit about you. And it's not bragging at all because I want to know
Yeah, because you're
the.
asking, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, I often get asked what got me into martial arts, and honestly, I have a rather deflated answer. I was never bullied or kicked or anything at the bus stop or anything like that. Well, I was bullied, but never physically bullied. Um, it's something I've always wanted to do, And I came from a less fortunate family situation where there was no money for me to take martial arts lessons, or do anything like that, anything extracurricular. So when I became a young girl of working age, my camera does not want to stay put. I became a
It's
girl
lazy.
of
It's
of
lazy
working
today.
age. Yeah, it
Yeah,
just keeps wanting to drop. I
that's
literally
okay.
just went in. I was in Pittsburgh. I was working in Pittsburgh, and I walked in to a CS Kim karate school, and that was in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, and started training, and never looked back. And that's been about 35 years now.
All
So
right.
I've loved Tung Sudo. I'm probably one of the highest ranked women in Tung Sudo that I'm aware of. And it's just one of those things. I loved it, and I just never stopped. So that's kind of my story with why I joined martial arts. And I've since then, she's over the course of 35 years, there's a lot of things that I could say and talk about, like yourself. But it's something that I ended up using as somewhat of a ministry. Even here where I live now in South Carolina, I teach through the Police Athletic League's inner city children. I have an inner city martial arts federation that I started in Pittsburgh in 1997, and it has since gone to Denver, and now it's in South Carolina. And I really take the children that wouldn't be able to afford to train, come from less fortunate, family situations, and even considered at-risk youth, and we give them a chance to train. So I've been doing that for many, many years, and that's from my heart, because when I was a kid, I wanted to do it, and I couldn't do it because there was just no money to do it. So now we do offer them a chance to train, and um, I do mat chat with them, and it's very religious-y. It's, people don't know this about me, Troy. I'm actually an ordained chaplain, and
Okay.
I do a lot of
Good.
chaplaincy work. And yeah,
Okay.
I went to seminary and everything. I had a very lucrative TV career for 25 years. And when I got out, I went to seminary and became an ordained chaplain. And since then, I tend to do a lot of inner city work. That's kind of my calling, to do the hard street core type stuff. So that's what we're doing here as well. And right now I'm running the program through Christ Central Ministries and the Police Athletic League. And it's just been a very good partnership the last 3 years.
Well, God bless you, ma'am. That's so kind of you to step out and help the hurting and the small and the young.
Right,
That's great. I'm sure you changed many lives, and how there's no other way that you'd rather do it is through Jesus Christ. He gets all the
right.
glory, but you
Absolutely.
you're the
Absolutely.
you are the deliverer. And if it wasn't for you, so many people wouldn't have heard what you have to say and what you have to teach them. So God
Yeah,
bless you
I
for
yeah,
doing
I
that.
appreciate that. I like the word deliverer. I appreciate that, because I actually do deliverance work, and it's something
Okay.
that not everybody feels cut out to do. That's in any type of clerical or pastoral role. But here I am, the weird one. I have no problem, no problem at
No,
all.
there's nothing weird about you. So don't.
Yeah.
I think you're joking, but yeah, there's nothing
Well,
weird.
no, no. Sometimes I think I might be a little strange, but hey, isn't that biblical too? We're
Oh
strangers,
yeah.
we are aliens, we're not of this world. I feel that way all the time. I get up in
Oh
the
yeah.
morning, I feel that way. So I'm like, well, that's okay. I'm supposed to feel that way. It's good. It's all
Yes.
good.
Yeah. What does he say? Be not of this world, but be
Yes, be
transformed by the
transformed.
renewing of your
Yes,
mind. Wow.
yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And yeah, he's just taken me and uh, I'm not a, and I think you would agree with this. I'm not a Jesus puppet. I just love him so much. He's done so much for me, and he continues to give me life and success and help. Yes, I have been through some hard times with my marriage, with my business, with my own personal life. It's been at times tough, but I know I can always depend on him. He says in his word, he'll never leave me nor forsake me.
That's
So
right.
many
That's
have,
right.
no names
Yes.
here, but He is there
Yes.
for us. Wow.
Yes. Amen to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love what you said. It's just because I love him. And I get that. I just get that. I mean, the sense of gratefulness that your life could have gone another way. And it didn't go another way because Christ had you in the palm of his hand,
Yes.
even before you even knew that he had you in the palm of his hand. That's hard to
Yes.
explain, but it just it resonates out of you when you really feel that you want to move in the direction of, man, I love him so much because he first loved me. And maybe that's hard for people to understand that aren't people of faith, but it's just a, a push to want to do that just because you love him, not because you have to. Because I don't have to, neither
No.
do you. But I love him so much, I want to. And I totally get what you're saying. Thank you for saying that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, you know what he said when he was dying on the cross? He
Forgive
said,
them.
Forgive Troy Dorsey, for he knows not what he does.
Wow.
Forgive, forgive Karen Herdman for
Yes.
for what she's done. Forgive him. Oh,
Yes. That is
he was,
huge.
he nailed it to the cross. We're free,
Absolutely.
and we're
Gone.
free,
The
free
slate is
indeed.
clean. Everything is a brand new day. Everything passed away that was the old part of you, and everything becomes new, a clean slate, like you were a newborn child. To be able to
Yes.
do that, every time you ask for forgiveness, there's not another religion, God, deity, or higher power that can do that, that can totally
No.
erase that slate and make you like a newborn baby every day, in spite of anything you may have done. That is unconditional love, and that's our God. That's our God that we serve.
Yes, it is. It is. We could go on talking and talking and talking about the Lord, and we will continue, I'm sure. But so we see that you've been called the master of inspiration. That reminds me of
Yeah.
that reminds me of your daddy, your father
My
in
daddy.
heaven, right?
Yeah.
Your
Oh
father,
yeah.
yeah, your
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah. That comes from, you know, I don't know, I guess, a good 30 or more years of writing and mainly in karate magazines. I've been blessed to be in over 320 karate magazines. So
220,
some of them are 320.
300. What
320.
magazine? Can you name all of them?
No,
No,
well,
give me four or
yeah,
five.
I probably, it's not
Three or
that
four.
many. Taekwondo Times, Black Belt Magazine.
Oh,
Curtis Wong back in the day had several. I was in all of those, which were Inside Taekwondo, Inside Kung Fu, Secrets of the
oh,
Masters. They're still cranking out too, and I'd say that with all humility. But I am a journalist, and it just seemed to be the right place at the right time for me. The martial arts writing industry didn't have anybody who wrote the way I did, and I think that also, I don't know another female, I don't think, that has been fortunate to be in that many magazines and also, have 5 books out, basically all martial arts or at least, philosophical books. So,
yeah.
I'm grateful. Unfortunately, karate magazines, like all magazines, are kind of going by the wayside. They're all
Yes.
electrical now. They're all online. So, in many ways,
Electrical.
yeah, in many ways it makes it easy, but I'm old fashioned. I like to
Me
feel it in
too.
my hands and turn the pages, you know.
Me too.
But there are not many like that now.
No, no. So yeah, that is amazing that you was and all wrote those magazines. What? So not a publisher. You're an author. Is that what you are?
Yeah, I'm a journalist. I have 5 books out.
Yeah.
I'm a book author, and I've been a long-standing magazine columnist. I had a column in Century Martial Arts magazine for, well over 20 years. Taekwondo
Yeah.
Times, I've been with them for a long, long time and just picked it back up, just picked that column back up. So
Okay.
it was Woman of the Times years and years ago. Now it's Master of the Times. So
Right.
that's with editor Jack Barry. He's trying to get it going again, and reached out to me and see if I would pick up the column. And so I had no problem doing that. So my writings are still out there. Sometimes you have to do a little digging because, like the whole magazine newspaper thing, it's just, young people don't like to read hard copies
Oh yeah.
of
No,
anything.
no,
So
they're
it's changing.
yes. Yes, ma'am. So you've written 5 books. Can you tell us real quick what
Five
the name of the
books.
five books are called?
The first one was a major publishing through Simon and Schuster Macmillan, and it was called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Taekwondo. That's back in the 90s when those idiot guides were popular. That was actually a
Right.
huge publishing for me. And then I have 2 books through Century Martial Arts that are martial arts philosophy. One is I Am a Martial Artist. The other is They Call Me Master. And both of those spun off product lines and became extremely popular with the mugs and the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. I have one self-help book called Will I Ever Feel Happy Again? And I self-published that one. And then the last one is Women of the Sport Karate Museum that I debuted to help celebrate me and a lot of my sisters in martial arts. And that was when we met in Houston. That's when that book debuted at the Sport Karate Museum in 2023. So those are my
Okay.
5 books right now.
Oh wow. Right now, like I say that, I think that means
It
you're not
never
finished.
stops.
No, you know.
Yeah. If you write, you write. You just keep writing.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Well, great. Let's see. As a 7th degree master in Tang Soo Do, you're 7th degree, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What has been the most transformative lesson martial arts has taught you?
Wow, that's a good question. I like that question. Transformative. When you grow up in situations from your home life, from a broken home, or you didn't get a lot of good foundation in your formative years, a lot of that has to be redone for you to be able to be a successful person or a person who understands and life and doesn't have a nervous breakdown every time something happens. There was a lot that had to be redone in me. Understanding that my faith in Christ has helped me a lot, but the tool through that a lot of times was martial arts and martial arts training, which definitely instills an enormous amount of confidence in someone, also focus and discipline. I think the most transformative message I got through my years of training is that, try it. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to do this. Why not you? Give it a shot. And don't be afraid of the word no. Don't be afraid to lose because you can always pick yourself up and do it again even better. And I think those lessons come, through any type of athletics, but especially martial arts, because it hits so close to home in your life when you go through things, to know that you're able to pick yourself up and brush yourself off and keep going if something were to take place to knock you off balance for a moment of time. You know what I
Yes,
mean? I
ma'am.
know you know what I mean.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So you said a while ago. It reminded me of the saying, when you don't when you don't win, you learn. So you either
That's
win or you
right.
learn. And
That's
I
right.
like that. I wish I would have known that back when I was competing. But the thing
Right.
was,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah, I
Back in the day,
realized
I mean,
now. Look,
yeah, you've competed longer than me, but go ahead. Back in the day, you realized, please finish.
uh, realized that at the end, during that time, I realized that I couldn't be stuck there. I couldn't be attached to my loss. I couldn't be, and the enemy will visit you often and tell you that you're a loser and you can't do it. I don't know. I don't think CANT. I don't think it's in the Bible. It says I can do all things. I can. I will. I can. So that's what you have to have,
Hmm.
that type of perspective, not
Right.
to on my way to becoming a world champion in martial arts. Was I undefeated and I wasn't undefeated. I lost and just kept
Exactly.
on pushing. I kept on pushing.
Right.
Kept on pushing. My parents. I was raised that way to not give up.
Yes.
I've heard it said, "Don't be a giver upper, be an overcomer." We
Yes.
are,
You only lose when you quit. And it's
yes,
just a matter of being patient to put the time into it. You have to put time into things, and you only lose when you quit. Very few things, some things in life you could time out if youth is important, but most things in life, you have the rest of your life to get there. So understand that, if you quit, that's when you're out of the race. You keep going and you run that race like you're going to win it, which is also another Pauline biblical principle that's in the Bible.
yes,
Run the race like you're going to win it.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, fight the good fight, keep the faith, and stay the
Yes.
course. You probably know this, but Paul wrote these inspiring words and these things that you just take a hold of, and you just, it helps you get through what you're going through.
Hmm.
He wrote all this in prison. He was in
Yes. A
prison.
lot of the letters he wrote to the churches, absolutely, he was imprisoned. And, he almost died like 7 times. Snake
Yeah,
bites, storms. This is a man who, may have came out of privilege, but, and, his big transformation was after he had killed a Christian. His whole goal
yeah,
in life was to kill Christians. He couldn't stand Christians. And,
right.
Christ got a hold of him, and then he was blind for that amount of time. And once he was blind, then he could see. And he's, he saw things and understood things spiritually when Christ himself visited him in the spirit realm. And that's when his journey really began. And what he was put on earth at that place in that time began once that transformation took place for him. And he said some wonderful things. And many times, he almost died. And many times he just submitted to the fact that for him to live was for him to live with Christ, for him to live with Christ. And, that is a testimony today. A lot of the New Testament is made up, the mass majority of it is made up of the Paul, what we call the Pauline epistles, the writings of Paul to the churches, the 7 churches. So,
Right.
it's by no accident or no mistake that, a lot of these people you read in the Bible, Troy, have gone through hard, torrid times. I mean, to the
Oh
point of
yeah.
death, and made it through so that we would be able to drink from the wells that they were digging. A lot of the Bible's like that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the Bible is true. It's helpful. It's encouraging. It's the number one seller every year throughout the world.
In
It's
the
the number one
world,
seller.
in the world of all
Yes.
time. Yes, of
Yes.
all time.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, Paul, did he get beheaded? Or do you know?
He did not get beheaded. Um,
I think
he's,
they
it,
beat him. They beat him. They beat him.
oh
I
yeah, I'm
think.
sure. I'm sure he was tormented. They weren't kind to prisoners. The disciples of Christ, that's when you get into a lot of them, what they call the martyrdom, where, um, you know, just you'd have to do a history search on it, where they really did not give up the cause and refuse to deny Christ. And physically, they had to pay a price for that. And, that's an interesting concept because, you know, people wonder why someone would commit to something like that. And I got to tell you, Troy, in the last 3 years, I actually joined the military.
All right. Thank you for
I'm
serving our
actually
country.
active military. I'm a
Hold
warrant
on just a
officer
sec.
in the state military.
Hold on just a second, please. We couldn't live like we live if it wasn't for men and women like you serving our country, risking your life, and doing what you do. Thank you so much for doing that.
You're absolutely welcome. Um, I'm a warrant officer in the state military. Uh, and that really changed the way I thought about things, because I often thought, well, why would someone want to be a soldier and risk their life? Why would someone want to be in law enforcement, risk their life every day? Why do missionaries go to communist countries and risk their life? And then I started to realize something. You do that because God wired you to do that. And when
Right.
God wires you to do something, you have no fear. The fear chip is just gone. And that's something that I realized, when I became active military is, I was born for this. And God, makes it so that you do not have any fear when you're called to do what he's called you to do. So I can only imagine that Paul in the New Testament also, even though he was in prison and almost died 7 times, he had a no fear chip. This is what I've been called to do. This is why I've been put on earth, and this is what I need to do. I mean, it really is amazing that
It,
comes over you like that.
it is. It is. So your poem, I'm a martial artist, inspired an entire product line. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So my book, I Am a Martial Artist. I got to go back just one step. Back around, I want to say 2002, when Century Martial Arts used to put those martial arts super shows on. I was a guest speaker, and I debuted this poem, and I wrote it, called I Am a Martial Artist. And when I read that poem on stage, I mean, I was shocked that so many people were so touched by that poem. And so Century Martial Arts approached me about doing a book called I Am a Martial Artist. And then we did that book. It was very popular. And then it spun off a product line that went all over the world. It was a very big seller for the martial arts industry. Some people may be familiar with it. If they're in martial arts, I'm a martial artist. So I think it's still out there in some of the book, the .coms. But yeah, I was very
What was
shocked
it?
that
What
what?
was it that it was selling? What was it?
Oh, okay. Well, it was mugs, T-shirts, journals, bookmarks, posters, just items that you would give as a gift or give to your students in karate for achievement. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a big selling product line. I Am a Martial Artist.
And that was all you were doing, right?
Yeah, I collaborated with Century Martial Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of times I've collaborated with them. And yeah, that was a poem that I wrote that got picked up. So again, it almost seems like there are many times in my life, Troy, I've just been at the right place at the right time, or someone
Right.
up there was looking out for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Our mighty
because
God. Our mighty God.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
reminds me of that
exactly.
remind me of this Bible verse. All things happen for a reason, for those called according to his purpose. You're called.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And in the Bible, it doesn't say anything about uh, coincidence. Oh, look, this is a coincidence. There's no coincidences. It all happens for a
Not when you've
reason.
accepted Christ as your Savior. Everything,
Yes,
is everything is assigned and ordained. No mistakes, no accidents.
right. That's it. So
Yeah.
you founded the Blood and Fire Federation, bringing martial arts to inner city youth. That's what you're talking about. I guess you can expand a little bit on that worldwide. How's it going?
It's good. The Federation now is in, 1, 2, 3 different states. It really, something very beautiful happened with that, because I started that Federation when I was running my programs through the Salvation Army. I was in a community chaplain for them. They call them, corps leaders, but no, they call them soldiers. But because they are all over the world, the Salvation Army, that program that I have with the martial artists who go in their community and teach the less fortunate martial arts and run it through the Salvation Army, went all over the world. So as a result, I have affiliates in Zambia, Moldova, just all over the world. So that was just a surprise that I didn't expect. But there are a lot of martial artists out there that really do have it in their hearts. A lot of good Christian martial artists out there too, where they really want to try to make a difference with their ability and their talent. And it just is a partnership that really seemed to work out well.
All right, that's great. That's great. Again, serving those children, those poor children with no parents or a single mom, or maybe they
Yeah,
have a family it's just really highly dysfunctional. It's so sad.
yeah,
Kids, children.
right. And they call them at-risk youth. A lot of them are considered latchkey kids, at-risk youth, or from less fortunate backgrounds. But, I got my hand raised because I was one of those kids. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why my heart's in it, because I understand what it's like to be a young person and be facing the world's largest mountain and go, I mean, I have no help. I have no money. I have nothing. How am I going to climb that mountain of success? I understand that totally. And I can just tell you, if that's anybody out there, hold fast to your faith, hold fast to the right, believe that all things are possible, and really get your spiritual life in gear and in order. You know, in martial arts, Troy, we say body, mind, spirit. And, you know, the body, when you train, will naturally come into a good place, a good fruition. The mind also will develop with discipline and focus and respect. But very few people in our industry will develop the spiritual side of things. And that's something I really focus on with my students, is make sure you're on a spiritual journey. And for me, that journey is through the power of the cross and through Jesus Christ. But you know, you have to make sure you develop that if you want to be balanced in life. That's just my understanding. I've gone through it, and that's what I teach.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Step to the next question here for you. You worked in Hollywood, trained in martial arts, and built a global movement. I mean, worldwide. That's astonishing that you've done that. I don't know if I've ever used that word just now, astonishing. But for you,
Thank you. I'm still hung up on global movement. Wow. I guess it's
yeah,
true. But yeah, to hear you say it, it's like, whoa.
yeah. So here you go again, another opportunity. What's one of the biggest obstacles? What is one of the biggest obstacles that you faced on your journey, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. That's a question that I sometimes ask when I interview people. And I basically say, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? So
Right.
that's kind of
With
along
a
on the same
smile.
theme. I got to tell you, 1997 was not a banner year for me. It started off with my dad committing suicide and ended with my marriage being over. It was a horrific year. I'd gotten the biggest career break of my life, working major market TV as a weather anchor and reporter, doing new TV news, and there was a lot of pressure and stress with that. Doing that, you know, being in major market TV is a lot of deadline pressure and a lot of stress, and man, it was tough. I was out there on TV and doing my thing and doing pretty good as far as that goes. But, you know, behind the scenes, my world was falling apart. That was
Right.
a really tough year. And that's when my faith really took on a whole new level. It's like
Yes.
I could hear God going, okay, do I have your attention now? Are you listening? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm listening now. This is hard. This
Yes.
is brutal. And, you know, I really got into gear with what my purpose is in this world and why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be doing. And that happened to me in 1997. And from that point on, I got to tell you, you would think when you're someone who is promoting, you know, your faith, that a lot of people are afraid you're going to fall back. You're not going to be able to go all the way to the top because people are going to think you're the weird, freaky religious girl or whatever. But I am here to tell you that my blessings didn't even start until I made that commitment that it's going to be me and Christ is king in my life. And that's when those blessings started. So don't let the enemy fool you into thinking that you aren't going to make it and you're going to fall behind because you hold fast to your faith. Quite the opposite. And Troy, I know that you can definitely identify with what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It reminded me of the Bible verse, the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. And
That's
wow,
right.
how
That's
many
right.
mountains have you moved? And yeah, leaning
Hmm.
on your faith. I've had to lean on my faith several times. I had some terrible things happen in '97 and '98.
Oh,
Uh,
same time as me.
suicide, and
What?
yes,
You had suicide in 97? Who was it?
yeah, it was someone in my family. I'd rather not mention it right now,
Well,
but yeah,
I get it, but
it
I'm
was.
just curious because I went through the same thing with my dad in 97, committing
Uh,
suicide. So
yeah,
that's very interesting. Our journeys must have Be
it
very
was one of
similar.
my it was one of my dads and one of my
Okay.
moms. So yes,
Both.
yes, yeah. So the Lord
Yeah.
is up there working His way, and that's not His way. That's not in His plan for people. But it's uh, it's something that happens.
It's an unfortunate trick of the devil. Troy, I
It
wrote
is.
my book. I wrote, Will I Ever Feel Happy Again? Is for people who've had to survive the suicide of a loved one. That's a survival book about people who've gone through it. Because as you know, the grief is just so abnormal when someone kills
Right.
themselves. You can't, there's no sympathy card that will fit. There's nobody can really say anything. People wonder if you're crazy. If you're going to do that, it's a horrible, horrible grief process to get through. So I wanted to write that book. And if you've gone through that, if someone's listening and have gone through and survived the suicide of a loved one, whether family or friend, please look that book up. Will I Ever Feel Happy Again? Because, both of us, we know what it's like to go through that. It's a horrible healing process that just takes you out of your game. We know that. And that book will be of help to you. I appreciate you sharing that, brother, because I know it's difficult, but, you know, the devil needs to get a black eye for that. He needs to get a
Exactly.
black eye for that. And that's why I talk about it. And I wrote a book about it. And I'm like, look, this needs to stop. This is a trick of the devil. If for
Yes.
anybody to think that it's better off for them not to be here than to be able to walk in a spiritual faith and a journey with the love of Christ on you, that is a lie from hell.
It
And,
is.
every chance I get, I will put that out there. You have no idea of the people you're leaving behind and how you imprison them and what they go through because of your unnatural death. You don't think of your siblings or your grandparents or your aunts and your uncles who are grieving, your friends who grieve. It's a very selfish act. That's why it comes from hell. So I
Selfish.
want to encourage anybody who feels that way to please rethink that. And you can get a hold of us. We'll tell you more. Either one of us.
Yes. I'm the same way. I've been through it. I've
Absolutely.
been through it. I know.
Absolutely. It's
So, yeah, I felt like doing that also. Does that mean something's wrong with me? No,
exactly.
no.
That's that.
It,
And there's stigma. There's stigma with someone who loses someone by suicide. And in my family tree, I've had 3 documented suicides, all on my dad's side. This is an evil spirit, brother, that runs in
yes,
the bloodline. It's an evil spirit in the bloodline. Very rarely is it just one person in the family. And then the rest of the family's on suicide watch for like the next year because you go through such a horrendous grief, an unnatural grief when someone takes them out that way. So again, if anybody's going through that, please don't feel like you're alone. It's an unfortunate percentage that is on the rise. And to me, it's demonic, it's evil. And
it
that's not
is.
God's plan for you. That is not why you were put here, to take yourself out unnaturally. And I would like to encourage you to please reconsider that and reach out to one of us. I know
Yes.
I can speak for Troy and say that, but thank you, brother,
Oh,
for letting
yes.
me say that. Thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And if you're not going to talk to us, you talk to someone else about it. There's Christian counselors all over the world. There's people to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
I give you my
you,
phone number. If you want to call me, I will do spiritual work with you. I've had to cast out that spirit of suicide on more than one person, and it works. It does work because it is a demon. And my number, brother, is 720-394-8408. Anybody that needs to call me because they're going through something like that, battling that demon, you get a hold of me. I'll be glad to work with you spiritually on that. No problem.
and I'll be right there alongside you. Or
Absolutely.
doing the
Thank you,
same
brother.
thing. 214 is my phone number. 957-5062. Again, it's 214-5062. Text me
That's it.
your
Yes,
name, and then I'll have the name. Then I'll know. Okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to talk.
that's it.
We're ready to go to war.
We're
It's
ready
a
to go.
war. It's a
It is a
war.
war. It's a
The
spiritual battle.
yes, God says that we are more than overcomers. We are
That's right.
conquerors. We
That's
can,
right.
through Him,
You know,
we can do all things through Jesus Christ.
the
All
devil will
things.
get a hold of somebody's mind. You won't think straight. The devil gets your mind like that. He causes chaos,
Yes.
confusion, and disorder. And that's not
Yes.
of God. And that's not the way God created us to live. Not at all. So I appreciate you giving me a chance to say that, Brother Troy. That means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. So, what did you do in Hollywood? What were the name of the shows or the movies that you were working with, or could you tell
Yeah,
us? Or
absolutely. I like, it's fun to talk about. It was a long time ago. Movies that really aren't my thing, I got to tell you. I
okay,
know that's not my purpose in life. It was fun. I did a Van Damme movie back in 1996. I did stunt work in that movie. It was called Sudden Death, and it was fun. Not anything I want to do. I'm not a stunt player. Don't ever want to do it again. Honestly, it was pretty brutal. And then in 1997, it was a Showtime movie with Cynthia Rothrock, and it's called Sworn to Justice, and I had a feature role in that movie. So that is
okay,
pretty much my Hollywood career, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. But it's really not why I feel like I've been put on this earth, and I have other things that I know I need to do. But thanks for asking.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So, martial arts is often about discipline and perseverance. Can you share a moment where you had to apply those principles outside the dojo? So, what you
Say
think?
that. What's that question again? I didn't hear you.
Okay, martial arts is often about discipline and perseverance. Can you share a
Yes.
moment where you had to apply those principles outside of the dojo?
Discipline and perseverance. I think that's every day. I mean, every day.
Join the club.
Um, persevering, discipline. Yeah, you got to get a little smart spiritually and understand sometimes that the enemy's going to try to take you out of your game. And man, he knows how to trigger you. He knows what's going to work for you to trigger you. And from a spiritual standpoint, which is how I operate, it's my modem of apparatus, honestly. When I say that, I'm not kidding. But I always have to be very aware that, when there's a trigger like that, uh, it could be coming from the enemy, the devil, or something evil to try to
He's
get
real.
me off my game. And I live my life like that. I live principles like that. And even this morning I had an issue, and it almost always has something linked to, believe it or not, ministry, because people think that when you're in ministry, because God and Jesus and everybody's good, that you're not going to have those type of issues. But I'm
Oh,
telling you, it's 2 million times worse with
yes,
the attack. The attack
yes,
is so much worse. You got to be smart about it, and you got to know how to handle it. You got to understand your weapons of warfare. You have to understand spiritual warfare in the battle of good and evil. And those are all some deeper topics. Maybe we don't have enough time for that, but that's really what living this life is about, is being in the battle. Again, when there's a battle of good and evil, choosing, first of all, which side you're on, and understanding why you were designed and brought here at this place in this time to battle that evil out there. And that's just the bottom line of living the spirit life. So yeah, the to get back to your original question, perseverance and discipline, um, that's pretty much a daily concept. Life
yes,
is hard enough when you don't have a spiritual journey. I can't imagine trying to understand why so many bad things happen to you when you don't understand spiritual things, honestly.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I remember when I was a little boy in church, looking at um, parents when I was a little boy, and the kids, and I would just look at the family. Well, I would think so much of that person, or so much, and they seemed like they had the perfect life. Of course,
Yeah,
everybody's acts. They dress up nice, and at church, that's how they act. But then you hear about what's going on at home,
yeah,
and But then I have pastor friends that have gone through some horrible things.
Attacks. Yeah,
Attack. The enemy is on the attack. I
that's
used to
it.
think that he didn't attack then, but now, of course, as an adult, I've learned that he's on the attack and he wants to destroy us, and he wants us to shut up,
Oh
zip
yeah.
our mouth up,
If
and
the
don't say
word
anything
can't
about
go out,
Jesus.
then if the word can't go out, if we don't even talk about Jesus and the things in the Bible, evil is at hand. Evil has permission to come out. It's speaking the word of God and using the power source of the name of Christ that enables us to keep evil at bay, or to attack
Yes,
evil when it tries to come against us. That word has to be spoken. It's very
it
important that
does.
that word is spoken.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, we can do all things through Jesus Christ, who strengthens us. I've
Yes.
already mentioned that verse one time. It's the most, well, let's see, the most famous verse I think is 4:15. I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. That some
Yes.
people, oh yeah, I can win that world title, or I can do this for this in this sport. It's not about sports. It's about the tough times that you're going through,
Mm.
and and there are so many of us. We all go through hard times. We all go through hard times.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you lean on Jesus and you depend on Him, and you don't look anywhere else, you can't stay focused on Him. You're gonna make it through it. You're gonna get through it. Yes, it might be
Mm-hmm.
cancer. You might die.
Mm-hmm.
You may not die. It doesn't mean that you're going to make it alive, but what's awaiting us, Christians? What is awaiting us, Christians that have been born again and that have given their lives to the Lord? He says that no eye has seen, no ear has heard what I have for you in heaven.
Mm.
Wow,
That's right. That's right.
it's
And,
amazing.
I mean, we all have to die. I mean, unless we go into what we are known as what we call the rapture, we all have to die. It is
Right?
appointed unto man once to die, according to what the Bible says. We're not to fear
Yes,
death, because the sting of death is taken away from us, because we're covered by the blood of Christ. And these are just, it's amazing to me to think that these incredible things that you can't put a price on are absolutely free. That, I know people that will spend thousands and thousands, to go sit in a sweat lodge. I am part Native American. Um, that I get asked that, where there's a good sweat lodge. Uh, I sometimes make fun of it and go, well, how much money you want to give me? I'll just make it hot for you, you know. but but, it always like, wow, people are so willing to pay all this money to have some kind of a spiritual experience. I just don't understand why you can't grasp something given to you through the death and resurrection of Christ that is free, this power source that's greater than any other power source of all time in the past and all time to come. I can't wrap my head around that. But you know what? That's part of my job to maybe clear up a little bit of the chaos and the disorder and help people who have never been able to be given the word correctly and understand how it works. It's a power source. That's one of the best ways I can put it. It's an incredible power source.
yes, yeah. Thank you so much for that. And I know, ma'am, that you're not, and I know that I'm not. I'm King Kong. I can do anything. I'm perfect. No, I'm not. I've fallen several times. I make mistakes. I do things wrong.
Yes,
So
yes,
someone said to me about 2 months ago, and it just stuck with me that oh, you did this because they know that I'm a Christian. What happened? Yes, that's why God died, because all have sinned. I sin also. I try not to make it a habit. I do the very best that I can to go around it and go over it or go under it, do something, and try not to do that. But it happens.
yeah. No,
It
you're
happens.
right. I mean, I tell people all the time, I don't want that pressure of having to be perfect, because I'm not. I'm not
No.
perfect. And if you look to me, I will let you down. I'm a human.
Right.
Just don't look to any man. I hear a lot of people going, well, I don't want anything to do with religious gatherings because I was wounded or whatever in church or by a pastor. Listen, you need to show up wherever you're going to show up, look for God. You need to show up and look for God. Don't look for man and how they did or didn't shake your hand or gave you a side eye. That's all.
He'll disappoint you every
Don't
time.
focus on that. Yeah, don't. Yeah. Man will let you down, but God is faithful.
Yes.
That's, I think, what we're trying to
Yes.
say. God is faithful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. He is. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything you'd like to wrap up, or that you said some great things that you've wrapped it up several times? But would there be something else you'd like to say?
Well, Troy, I really appreciate your journey. Um, you know, I know people in martial arts know, but should anybody else around the world see this, I don't think you may not, unless you Google it, realize that this man here is a world champion. He's not just a world champion competitor. I mean, he was back in the day, brutal, wipe the blood up when you're done, world champion. And, for you to be all in spiritually is so huge. And when you came up, me and my posse were sitting around in Houston after I had gone up and I've been honored with, at the Sport Karate Museum, for you to come up and, shake hands and actually sit, Troy, and pray with us, pray with my friends. Some of my friends were going through a really hard time that day. And, you weren't someone who just said, I'm going to pray for you. You did it my style. You're like, I'm going to pray for you now. So don't go anywhere. We're going to do this right now. And you should do that. I don't want to hear, I'm going to pray for you if I remember to later. I want to see, I mean business. If I say I'm going to pray for you, hang on because I'm going to pray for you right now. That's the way I roll as well. And God bless you, brother. I appreciate your boldness and I appreciate your heart. And I know you're uncomfortable with compliments. I am too, but sometimes it's good to know that what you're doing is making a difference, and I'll leave it at that and say thank you very much for what you do.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. I'm crying. I'm crying. The shortest verse in the
God
Bible.
bless you, man.
Jesus
Well,
wept. So thank you so much for joining today.
you
And you're
showed
very
up and
kind
you prayed for a
words.
couple of people. Well, Troy, let me just say this: you showed up and you even prayed for my son. Uh, my son was a football player in Kansas in college. He just graduated, actually, but he had been under an attack of infirmity where he lost 50 pounds and couldn't eat, and nobody knew why. And it took him out of the game. I mean, it really messed with him. And I had
Oh
you come
yeah.
over, brother. You laid hands on him and prayed for him. And I want you to know that he is doing fine. He is healed. We don't know what happened. The doctors don't know what happened, but we know who healed him. And he is on track for the Lord. And he's looking to try out later in the year to go professional football. And everything is wonderful. So we praise the Lord. And I want to thank you how much that meant to him that you came over and prayed for him. Thank you so much. We appreciate that so much, brother. You're
I'm
good.
crying
I had a
again.
friend. Well, let's keep it rolling. I had a girlfriend, and matter of fact, I told her I'm going to be on the show with you. She said, please have Troy pray for me again. She was my little Italian friend going through some stuff, and you prayed for her. And she said, man, I'll never forget that. Could you tell him to pray for me again? Because I know that I'll feel it. It was so powerful. You made her cry. So, absolutely, brother, just the way you're rolling in the spirit is so huge. And yeah, keep praying for me and my kid and my friends and praying for the world, our president, our politicians. We're out here. The prayers are powerful to make a difference through our prayers and how we go out and we care ourselves and do what we do for the Lord. But thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm truly honored of all shows to be on your show. And I don't say that about anybody's show. I don't think I ever have. But I'm honored
Thank
to be
you.
on yours because you're a brother in Christ. God bless you. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. I like that. Thank you so much. God bless you. I love you, sister. Keep up the great work. And I'm just so, I didn't know. I didn't know what
Oh,
was going
yeah.
on. But when you said,
Yes,
when you
sir.
said, talked to me about when I met you in down in Houston,
Yes,
to God be
absolutely.
the glory.
That was
To God be the
impactful.
glory.
That was an impact that you took the time to pray. Yes, absolutely. You're very well loved too, brother. I want you to know that. And sometimes we're so busy treading through what we tread through, battling evil and stuff. We don't have time to look up and see if there's sunshine or if someone's going, I'm here and I remember you and I appreciate you, but we just keep going. But I definitely
That's
wanted
it.
to minister you to in that way and let you know. Thank you so much.